In 2006, scientists and artists came together in a collaborative effort to explore and expand our understanding of such intrinsic processes as thought and decision-making on a project that became known as Silent Barrage. In a Petri dish in Atlanta, a complex network of tens of thousands of neurons are grown in vitro on the scale of 1 millimetre square, and through a grid of 60 electrodes are interfaced with a digital network consisting of multiple robotic bodies. The dish, known as a multi-electrode array, is connected to the robotic bodies, functioning as their brain, directly stimulating them in real time via the internet. Each pole in the arrangement corresponds to a region in the culture dish, and each of the robotic bodies amplifies and accurately represents, by movement and mark making, the electric activity of this real biological neural network. Upon booting up, the robot enters a learning phase with a series of measured tests, the results of which are recorded and utilised as a kind of memory, defining parameters and variables on subsequent reboots. This gives the robots a basis of personality as they draw upon experience to determine their action. In a reflexive juxtaposition, it is the audience that provides the stimulation to which the cultured cells respond. Using cameras and position mapping technology, the movement of the audience within the installation is relayed to the neural network via the electrodes as sensory data that triggers a response, which, in turn, is sent back to the robotic bodies, creating a closed feedback loop between the neurons, the robots, and the audience. The viewers are communicating with the neural network and it with them. The accumulation of marks over a period of time delineates the interaction of the viewers with the neurons. For the audience itself, it's as if they've walked into the brain of a semi-living entity, a biomechanical organism that actually reacts to their presence. The brainchild of Phil Gamblen, Ben-Ary, Dr. Steve Potter, and with the invaluable assistance of engineer Petri and seminal work by Dr. Nathan Scott, Silent Barrage is the culmination of 7 years of research and is a continuation of an art and science project named MeArt, the semi-living artist, one of SymbioticA's first collaborative projects. A project that grows mammalian brain cells in culture upon a multi-electrode array to form a long-term two-way interface between cultured networks and a robotic arm capable of drawing two-dimensional images. Branching away from MeArt, the Silent Barrage team decided to retain the core principles and basic architecture of that project, but to come up with new and novel forms for the artistic embodiment of neural activity as a means to raise questions over the creation of semi-living entities, emergent behaviour, and agency. Silent Barrage is one of the very few real art and science works in that it is both artistically meaningful and scientifically valid, providing an immersive and overwhelming sensorial manifestation of the questions that are at the core of our understanding of brain-based phenomena, such as proprioception, learning and memory, brain plasticity, addiction, and epilepsy, as well as informing the public about basic neuroscience, feedback mechanisms, and exposing them to the philosophical questions surrounding cybernetic or semi-life constructs and endeavours. Within the cultured network, nerve cell activity usually occurs when stimulation from the multi-electrode array reaches a threshold. The same can be said of our decision-making. The robot's markings on the pole hint at continuous neural activity, conjuring traces of memories of past actions. Silent Barrage explores the foundations of thought, free will, and neural dysfunction by examining the process of amplification of the microbiological data into the aesthetic macro, conveying the tension that exists between the biological and its informational representations and simulations. The micro-scale biological components give rise to complex macro-scale behaviour that is manifestly subtle and unpredictable. Silent Barrage raises questions ranging from engineering and neurological science to ontology, a branch of philosophy that attempts to define the very nature of being. It gives us unique insight into our understanding of the burgeoning relationships between the natural and the artificial, between man and machine, between machine and mind, between science and the arts, whilst drawing our attention towards the nature of determinism, its relationship with free will, and the impact of sensory experience on mammalian neural programming. Silent Barrage declares its presence in scale and sound. It invites the viewer to become part of the art, to participate in an ever-changing and shifting landscape of interdependence and evolution. A revolutionary undertaking with vast potential for exploration and interaction.